You are watching the Fayetteville Government Channel. Up next, full coverage of the latest meeting of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is composed of citizen volunteers and meets on the first Monday of each month. The board advises the City Council and city staff on issues that affect the city's parks and recreational programs. And now, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
I'd hate to go a minute early.
But I think we could probably go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to the August 2013 Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. All right, everyone's here tonight. We'll get started with our first item on the agenda is the approval of the July PRAB meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read those?
Yep. Motion to accept. Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, we'll move on to the second item on our agenda tonight, which is the Regional Park donation presentation by Jim Cherry.
Go on, hop to the next two.
You're in the very
Who did
top.
I give it to, Alan? You can give it to Connie? Connie?
Our chairman.
This is a check for $425, and what it came from was I took two teams to North Little Rock for the Coles Cup. It's a recreational soccer tournament, biggest tournament they have all year long in the state of Arkansas. But to get the children, their parents committed to driving all the way to North Little Rock, I need a little bit of money up front, so I asked them $20 per child. That helps them pay for their team registration and for referee fees, some of that. But I told the parents, I said, I'm going to have some money left over, so I'll find a good cause for it. And so what we decided was to make a small donation toward these soccer fields, the development of new soccer fields in Southwest Fayetteville.
So good. Yeah, thank you.
It comes as a challenge to the baseball people. Maybe they'll pitch in too and
Oh,
ball.
that's a challenge, okay. Challenge money, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good
Dude
start.
can help.
Thank you so
That's what we
much.
need.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your donation, and I didn't tell you a few minutes ago, I'm not your regular chairman. The regular chairman and vice chairman are not here with us this week, so I'm a little new to this. Hopefully I can keep track of the prime numbers like our regular chair does and get all these things in 2-3 hours. All right, number 3 on our agenda is VGSO monthly report from Byron Humphrey.
Okay, the board met on the 23rd of July and went over a couple items of notes. Their 2013 audit was complete, and so they've got that. We'll be getting that probably in the next little bit to review. Park staff usually gets a copy of that. They did report that their membership is at a record right now of 1,358 members. And then they talked a little bit about the master plan. They're still working on that with the architect, and they're looking more towards October-ish to present that to Parks Board. So they're trying to be as thorough as they can and looking at all the bases, and so that's why, you know, they'd originally hoped for September, but now they're looking at October. That was pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Byron. Number 4 is trail naming for Clear Creek and Skull Creek trails. Matt is here with trails for
Yeah, thank you. As you guys may be familiar with the process of naming trails, it comes to you guys. First, it actually went to the Active Transportation Committee, and they basically unanimously supported what we're going to propose here to you. But it'll also sit for a month to allow more public input, so if anybody has specific ideas about trail naming. These are a little bit easier because they follow creeks, and we traditionally have always named our trails after our creeks to provide that nice tie-in and recognition of the importance of the streams and creeks in our area. So what we're looking at is the new Clear Creek Trail, which this is the mall right here. This is a new, about a 3-mile trail that's under construction. It will be completed in the fall. This piece is actually already completed over to Ball Street, the low water bridge there. So what we had proposed is the part that goes along Clear Creek, which is shown in blue here, being called Clear Creek Trail, that would continue from Lake Fayetteville where it'll tie in near the Spillway Bridge. And then they have plans to extend that on out to the Willow Creek Women's Hospital, there by 540, and then maybe even on out farther to the west. So, you know, that makes a good east-west kind of a name, we thought. The one that's a little bit different is this green line, which is continuing Skull Creek Trail, which you might be familiar with, where it turns and then becomes Mud Creek Trail. Right there, it's already built to continue north. Technically along there, because Skull Creek and Mud Creek have come together, the creeks have a confluence, which is just a little bit north of where the turn is. It becomes Mud Creek Trail along there. We thought, because we already have a Mud Creek Trail, and this is what the Active Transportation Committee thought, it would be confusing if you named the Skull Creek Trail and then named this piece Mud Creek Trail and then Clear Creek Trail. So what we're proposing is just to continue Skull Creek Trail name up to the intersection of Clear Creek Trail. For consistency, we already kind of change names of trails a lot. You know, if you're on Skull Creek Trail and then you go to Frisco Trail. So this would just be a lot more continuous. So. And I don't know if we'll get a lot of public other than, you know, they have other names, because it is still just creek names and not as much people's names or historical in this case. I'm going to bring it through here. So if you guys have any questions on it, I think it's going to be a really nice trail too. Part of the Razorback Regional Greenway goes through along those creeks. Are beautiful. North of them all, these huge trees and just really neat place. So it'll be an alternative way of getting to Lake Fayetteville from taking the bike lanes on Vantage.
Is this all part of the Razorback Green? So
All
this
part of
is
the Razorback Regional Greenway.
all this is fine.
We're not really involved with any funding or anything. We're overseeing the construction, making sure it's built to our standards. The Parks Department will take over the maintenance when it's completed, only in the parts that are in Fayetteville, not Johnson. And then we get to say what the name of it is as well.
I think that makes sense to continue on with that name, particularly for emergency responders. If they have to come to some point on the trail, it doesn't confuse them as well.
Yeah, that's what we mean. If they said Mud Creek Trail, they're going to think about this part here over by Noodles, and maybe not the other two. There were two pieces. Yeah, it'd just be confusing. Yeah, and that's important to make sure that people understand
So when they
and
go
communicate.
further north, are they gonna keep it Skull Creek then?
No, it actually looks like it's going north, but it's going to hang back west, and it follows that creek underneath 540, just south of Main Drive there.
So that'll be Clear Creek?
Clear Creek, it would say Clear Creek Trail.
And what's Johnson saying about what they're gonna name that portion of it when it?
They like Clear Creek name, so, you know, we don't have say on what they call it, but I'm feeling really confident that that's what they'll call it. I would hope they don't change the name on it. But they already call it that. So, and their association that's doing it is called the Johnson Clear Creek Trails Incorporated. So,
Does this need to be in the form of a motion?
I guess it'll be tabled.
A motion to table.
Motion to table.
Before we do that, do we have anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this subject?
It's great. Okay, all good.
That sounds good. And how soon is it gonna be open?
This piece, they're just trying to put,
Just something different.
the railings on it is all that they need to do and put on the bridges, and they're gonna open.
Six
They're
months?
gonna open this,
No, I'm
in 2
just kidding.
weeks.
Sure.
And then they're finishing a bridge here. This is all paved, so they're doing a bridge. There's a big bridge that's actually gonna cantilever over the creek, and it goes like pretty impressive. And then this small connection's paved up to, if you look from the JCPenney parking lot, you can see it goes down there.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's all already paved, all concrete. And then they're working up through here. They're paved underneath the bridge at 71 feet, actually, by the locomotion. It's hard to see, but there's a lot going on.
I have actually seen remnants of it down there.
And then this section, they're just getting started on to come up to Lake Fayetteville. It's a very challenging piece because of the slope.
Sure. So from college over should be just a matter of a few weeks.
Well, except for this bridge here. They're saying fall, they're saying October, but I'm not as confident on that. So I'm saying fall-ish, you know, but definitely by the end of the year though,
Good.
it'll be open. Yeah. Good.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you for the support on it.
Can I ask a question about another trail, since you're obviously involved with it, or maybe?
Yeah, I'm good as long as everybody else is.
I'm seeing work on the trail system that goes through the fairgrounds and under Porter Road, bridge there on 540. And it's coming back around to what appears to be a dead end on Shiloh Street there in what would be the southwest corner of Porter Road and 540. I'm curious what the intention is for the trail people that get to that point.
The intention would be, that's gonna cross that piece of Shiloh there, and then it'll be on the west side of Shiloh. That will be a trail that continues called the Shiloh Trail, that will eventually go the whole west side of Interstate 540. We have a piece of it by Sam's, and then on the Subaru there's a little piece now.
And there's a little creek back there called Haines Street.
And we'll tie that trail in.
And that'll all tie into that too, Sam?
That's right, it'll tie into that trail. That trail's kind of was a little isolated, trail. It's a nice trail, but not many people know about it.
Just us that live there, yes.
Yeah, those that live there, and then they enjoy it. But yeah, that'll be hooked in, and then that trail will be extended out west too.
Yeah.
So it'll all start to come together, and that what we're building right now is a really important piece because it brings us underneath 540 in a safe way. So I'm excited to get that going.
Matt, is there a, on your Access Fayetteville website, is there the map to that?
Yes,
So-
there is. There's
Everyone can
the
look that up.
overall
on Access
master
Fayetteville?
plan map, and then we have individual maps of the construction projects.
Good, thank you.
So you'll see.
Hey, where are your maps? Where are our little handout maps?
Oh, yeah, let me go grab them. The fold out maps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one question before you leave.
Sure.
On that trail that's going underneath 540 there, is there any plans to connect that back to the neighborhoods? Back up Porter and Dean Street?
On Porter to the south, going south then?
Yeah.
It's on the street.
It's a sidewalk connection there, and I've been talking with transportation about getting that
Get
in.
that sidewalk extended all the way out?
It just needs to go a little bit more. There's a gap there.
Yeah, it's not much.
And it's important, yeah. So we're certainly, I think we need, it's a tough, with the way the trees are and things, to get the sidewalk through there, but it's a very important connection. So, yeah. They've told me, I checked, they said that they would put that on their list of transportation.
Yeah, because we have to go on that ditch on the other side, because then walk up to catch that trail.
Oh, okay, because you're on the south side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might want to look at doing a little wider sidewalk too, depending, we can look at the right of way we have there. So, that's not part of this immediate construction,
Right.
so, but once we get this wrapped up. Yeah, thanks for that comment.
Any other questions from the board?
I'm gonna go get maps. I'll be
Okay.
back.
Thanks, Matt.
Did we vote on to table it?
We had a motion to
Staff's
Second.
recommendation to approve the proposed names of the trail, but we have a PRAB motion to table the naming of the trails until September meeting to allow time for public input
Second.
according to the naming parks and trails policy. All those,
Oh, sorry.
do we have a motion?
Motion.
Is your motion?
Second.
You got a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we'll table that until September. Number 5 is a special bond election, and in your packet you should have a city council agenda item for August 6th meeting, right? We have that in here. And Connie, do you have some more information on that?
Well, it goes before the city council tomorrow night, and I believe they're going to table it and take it, actually vote on it the next Tuesday in 2 weeks after that. And, you know, at some point in time, we need to, for anything bond, we cannot use taxpayers' money. Staff, we can't go out and give speeches or anything on it. So I thought, you know, once it needs to be approved first by the city council. But once we're from there until November 12th, when it's supposed to be on the ballot, then we need to get our interest groups up and running, you know, to help support this bond. There are 3 questions on the board, on the bond. Question 1 will be to refinance or to the refunding of the bonds. That has to happen. And then number 2, that
The
people.
refunding of the bonds for the town center, is that what it is?
Yeah, for the town center.
And that's what, I guess that's what's left on the town center bond.
Yes. And they have to remain in debt service, so that's why it's essential that they need to have a project to put it on, okay? So there'll be 3 different questions for people to vote on. That one, and the second one is for the $6.9 million to go towards expansion of the Watton Arts Center. And then the third one is the $3.5 million for development of the regional park. So there are 3 different, people will vote on, one has to pass in order for 2 and 3. Well, one has to pass.
Yeah.
And,
But essentially, 2 could not pass and 3 could pass.
correct, or both could pass, yeah, one could pass, or none of them pass. But one has to pass or nothing, they can't refund the bonds. So we wouldn't have any money to bond it with. So number one has to pass. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
And then it goes back to the city council for them to endorse to go on and refund the bond money and to go for a special election.
So basically, the parks will end up with 3.5, is that what it is?
Yes.
Can we flip that 3.5 and 6?
That's what I
I mean, come on, seriously. I mean, let's give our kids some.
But 3.5 gets phase 1 done, correct?
It goes beyond, I think Allison has a map put up.
This is the total park, I don't have it phased out.
Okay.
So that gives us money to complete phase 1?
Phase 1's the soccer fields and the Great Lawn, is that
We
right?
have soccer fields, 6 fields lit, and the Great Lawn. And the Great Lawn with this, it would pay for I'll let Allison, she's used to do this. Go ahead.
Give it a speech.
Well, the first phase, with just the Great Lawn and soccer, we actually have money in the bank for, the 4.5. So if we get the bond, then we're gonna be able to add on to that. So we're looking at trying to put in some of the baseball.
And that'll be the infrastructure to get out
Is that-
there and the whole work.
Is that in, the 4.5 pays for infrastructure too, or just the park?
A little of both. There's some money has been earmarked from transportation to help build the road
Okay.
for Judge Cummings for the access. And then there's potential that water and sewer needs to put in a larger water line through the park from the tanks up there, so that will decrease our water costs to getting water to the site, so that's helpful. So there is some money in that 4.5 for infrastructure, but
Any word on any other buyers for the?
Not yet.
Nothing.
I haven't sold it yet. I've been looking.
Frank's steadily working.
Mhm.
And that's what this article on the paper was today. It was about, not Kessler, about the tree rings and
Yeah.
the university, trying to get the university purchase it.
The neighborhood part of it, nothing on the neighborhood part though?
No, university, they haven't made their mind up totally what they're doing, so that's all I know. They were looking at different sites at one time, but I don't know where they're at. I haven't talked to them here lately, so I don't know where they're at on it. So y'all, this is very exciting, hopefully.
Is this the first time it's been on the ballot like this?
Yes, other than when we did the HMR tax. Was the only other time of bond money. They called that penny for parks.
Called it
Which
penny
I
for
thought was
parks?
real. Penny for parks, the
Oh.
HMR money.
I said pity for parks.
A penny for parks.
Is there, I guess the dollar amount in the bond is based on the amount of money that the HMR tax provides to
Yeah.
service the bond?
Yes, and those amounts were determined by the A&P. You know, A&P board made this recommendation on these two projects. And then it goes to council. You know, I think there's gonna be some education of people to understand why you've gotta vote. If you're interested in one of these bond projects, one has to be voted for you. You have to vote for one.
Does anybody think we're gonna get any resistance from the Walton Arts Park?
I think they're very excited. They were at the agenda section and they were very excited for the bond, just like us.
But you're saying, are we gonna get some resistance from people saying,
Oh.
why does the Walton Arts need to
Yeah.
expand, and
Oh,
are they staying here, and
Yeah, all that.
all that?
I'm not going there, I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said, let's flip the dollars amounts and make it easier. People always want to give money to the parks.
So the first one has to pass, then either or the other two.
Yes. Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
Those two don't have to.
The first part has to pass to roll in the bond for the town center, right?
Okay.
And then you can have either or both of the second and third question,
Or neither.
or neither.
And then they have to find other projects.
Wait, does the HMR tax service the debt for the town center bonds
Currently.
currently?
Currently,
Yeah.
yes,
And is that all on the A&P?
yes, that's A&P.
And that's what we're saying, is the $1.5 million is left over from the initial bond, I take it, for the town center.
Right. You know, one worry, you know, people don't read all through it, A&P, and they see HMR. You know, a lot of people just think HMR comes to parks. Anyone that's kind of been affiliated with parks. But one penny goes to A&P, and then another penny was voted on to come to Parks and Recreation. So that's the 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
Allison, I got a question about your map. Can you go through for everybody, is there 3 phases, 2 phases? What exactly have we got there?
Well, it could be a lot of phases depending on how the money comes in. So we know we have money for phase 1, which we just talked about, is the soccer and the Great Lawn. If the bond happens, then that will get some of the baseball. So after that, we're fundraising. And it just kind of depends on what comes forward.
Are you including baseball and softball in that statement, or it would,
Baseball.
so baseball would be phase 2,
Mhm.
and then phase 3 would be softball and other things?
Mhm.
It looks like, I mean, there's $8 million. It looks like we might be short probably 5 baseball fields. We can get 3 of them built, but 5 of them we might be short. So I think that's the extra fundraising will minus $3 to $5 million.
To complete baseball.
To complete baseball. So that's kind of our goal, just see if we can get all that in one.
Which side is it looks like you've got.
This is baseball. And then this is softball. Is that what you're asking?
And would that include restrooms, concession stands with that, or is that that would be in the
That's
first
it.
phase?
It's in the first phase with soccer. Yeah.
With soccer, yeah. I was gonna say the concession stand restroom kind of thing is,
Yeah.
need to be first.
We have it sort of located in between the two, so that when baseball comes on, they can share the same facility.
So where it says concession and restrooms, it's not everything's gonna be,
Here.
well, there's also a big block of it down here near the basketball.
Yep, that'd be a later phase. Yeah. We tried to locate them centrally so facilities could share, so we have one in this area, we have one here for softball and an amphitheater, then we had one up here for basketball, tennis.
Okay.
The
That's
ball
tennis courts, okay.
money would also pay for the park, 2 different parking lots.
You read my mind. That was my next question was, which phase were you gonna put the parking lots in?
It would have to go where we put the fields.
These 2 parking lots plus on-street parking would be built when the soccer comes in, and then this would be built when baseball comes in.
The area of the old landfill, what work is being done up there? Who's paying for that?
ADEQ will be paying for that, and they're gonna be recapping it, so they'll regrade the entire site and then bring in clay and topsoil to recap it. And they're hopefully gonna be starting on that by the end of the year. They're selecting their contractor to manage the project right now.
And then what will that area be used for?
Passive recreation, we don't have a lot programmed for it right now, but probably trails. We've talked about maybe disc golf, something like that, but nothing super active.
Can you plant trees on the, you can't plant trees on it? Can you put sidewalks on it?
Potentially.
Like what's the maximum level of?
We don't really have a maximum level of development. We've pitched certain ideas to ADEQ for overflow parking, and they weren't wild about that.
They don't want anything big and heavy out there.
So it's safe for families to go out there though?
Mm-hmm.
Just not to put a parking lot on.
Probably get the settlement.
Yeah.
You think about it may not be totally stable if you
Right.
start putting weight on it.
It's like 540 north of Johnson exit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. With it.
Everybody knows that.
Keep paving it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it has to do with the cap that she's mentioning. You can't have anything that penetrates 2 foot
Mhm.
of, I'm assuming, red dirt or
Clay, yeah.
clay or something
Yeah.
like that.
See, way back when we started looking at this piece of property, we applied for post-closure trust funds, and that was to remediate the landfill. And they did a bunch of studies on it, and right now, as of today, we will probably be the first city to receive those post-closure trust funds from the state, so that's good. $2+ million.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's closer to three now.
To do all that work.
Mm-hmm.
But as a citizen, then you go out to use the park, basically, it's just a big field.
It's just a big meadow.
And this is just basically, they're giving us the funds because we want to repurpose a landfill. Is that what it's about?
It's to make it abide by all current standards.
Oh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Is there precedence out there for repurposing landfills in other areas? Grant money available?
I don't know. Didn't check into those. Probably.
There are landfills that have been
Yeah.
repurposed, especially in the Northeast, there are a lot of them.
You know, there are a lot of parks that have been built on landfills, and it just depends on what, ADQ totally controls it.
Pittsburgh. It's awesome.
Anything else, Connie, we need to know about for the board tomorrow night, is that right?
Tomorrow night, it goes before city council. They said they're gonna probably table it the first time, so I'll go before the second time. Our city attorney will be gone that day, but they'll give time for public to ask questions.
Any other questions?
It'll be voted on in September, more than likely, and it'll be on the ballot in November,
November 12th.
2 months.
All right, thanks. Number 6 is other business. Do we have any other business?
The only thing is I didn't think you all would want to meet on Labor Day. Staff didn't either, really. That was on that happens to fall on the first Monday. So we will meet on the second Monday, which will be September 12th. I'd hate for one of you to show up here. The doors would be locked.
And since you guys asked about the maps, I have lots of them too, so you can pass them out, but I just kind of wanted to tell you about them real quick. This was a partnership between the AMP and in the city. Our GIS department actually made the map. Some unique things on the map are that we took, trying to encourage people to ride on the roads and the trails. So we put a level of comfort level that we felt like a green, using the same as ski slopes, green, blue, and red on it, so that you have a guide to using some of the on-street too, and as well as all the trails. So, and then also it has steep grades on it. It has arrows on it for the steep grades, and the closer they are together, you might want to stay away from that one.
Is that all explained on there?
Yeah, in the legend, it's explained on that. And then there's also the single track on there. So again, green. Oh, and then also we have comfortable is green. We felt like that you could have kids on that, possibly in a trailer and things. I kind of thought about my family as far as those routes. Usually a residential, low volume, low speed kind of a road. It still makes a good connection. And then we have comfortable with improvements, and that's little black dots on there. That just means that we went ahead and had it signed as a bike route. Probably has the Shero symbols on it, the little white symbols. It could have a bike lane, but we weren't trying to get too technical on what type of facilities on each route. And then, so then you have the moderate, which, you know, maybe it steps it up a little bit. Could include bike lanes. Again, we put different designations on that and thought, I'm not seeing that. And then difficult connections like Wedding Center, maybe Mission, I think that's on there, it's difficult. Also on the trails, we put the underpasses and the crosswalks where you have crossings.
Speaking of, when do I get to ride under MLK?
It's close, halfway under there right now. I was just out there earlier.
Are they really?
I walked in and
Already? That's incredible.
yeah, already.
Wow.
The contractor's really moving fast,
That's good.
and it's great. Yeah,
So
felt very comfortable.
Will they be finished by the time the university starts on that?
We're shooting for the first football game to have all lanes back open. They'll shift lanes this later in the week, and then they'll be able to open more lanes and things, and get the traffic going a lot better. So it's good. They kind of get to the point where they're past the halfway point, and then it's just kind of over the hump and start to open lanes. They'll be putting asphalt down back on the road tomorrow, a part of it. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes pretty fast with the precast because the tunnel's precast.
Yeah, explain how they did that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's actually made down by the airport at a company called Skurlock Industries, and they build them there. They're 12 foot wide, 10 foot tall, so they're as tall as this room, but as high as the room and wide. And they're 6 foot long sections of them, and they take a crane and just put them in there, essentially, put them on nice
Like Legos.
base, like Legos, and push them together. And they're already designed for all the loading and everything that they need, so it's real slick. The drainage is really good too. It all has gravel behind it and pipes, so we won't have it be wet. And it actually gravity drains without a pump or anything down to the creek, so. It's gonna be cool, I'm pretty excited about it. It's been a long design process, and this is such a critical project for extending our trails to the south and connecting.
Oh, and the bid came in. What was the bid at?
Bid, yeah, 1.4 million for the bid. Engineer's
awesome.
estimate was 1.6, so about 200,000 under that. Yeah, so hopefully it's all in there. We won't have to go any higher than that. And, Walton Family Foundation's paying 1.2 of that, 1.4 million. So the city's right now to put about 200,000 in on it, but I'm been told, keep my fingers crossed, that they might go ahead and try to close that gap for us. But we'll see. It depends on how some other bids come out. Get the rest of the racetrackers. Make sure they get it all built. Yeah, it's going pretty fast. I mean, it's going to take some time on the other pieces. There's 3 bridges that'll be going in, and so it's still going to be early spring when it's all finished. And we've got that tunnel first. Trying to beat the university craziness. So yeah,
It's
take
already started.
So what, already started? You've seen it? People moving back in?
Yeah. A lot of Texas plates.
You got something against Texas?
No, I'm just saying, you can tell they're coming.
It's true. It's because of in-state tuition.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard.
It's one of Texas kids, I think. You understand?
It's great.
Thank you, these are great.
Oh, they won actually an award at the conference, Esri Conference, who does GIS. It got 3rd place in its category award, so
Wow.
cool. Kind of proud of them.
So how often are y'all gonna print and reprint?
Every year getting reprinted, so,
Every year.
yeah, that is a good point. You'll notice the Clear Creek Trail, for instance,
It's
is not
not
on there,
listed.
it's not listed on there.
You can get them across the street at the visitor
Yes,
center.
right over at the visitor center across the street, yeah. Yeah, she's, Marilyn's committed to printing them every year, so we'll be able to get those new trails on there. We just didn't want to encourage people to use a trail that's not built yet.
Sure.
They're not finished yet, so we're going ahead and just decide not to put them on there unless they're finished.
Awesome, thanks,
Will
man.
do.
Thank you. Any other business from the board? Any other business from the public? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Steve Schneider. I have a question for Byron concerning the Botanical Garden Society. I was just wondering if in their meetings they have mentioned any user groups or volunteer organizations that have put a lot of effort into the Lake Fayetteville Park as far as communication prior to releasing their master plan. Has that been brought up at all, or do you have any?
They've just brought up that they are going to correspond with those groups, but where they are in that process, they didn't elaborate a whole lot. They're just, other than the fact that they're working on it.
Weren't they gonna have a public meeting of some sort?
What they had hoped to do is they have their annual members meeting, and they were hoping to present that to their members first before they present it to the Parks Board. And I think their members meeting is in late September, so that's kind of within their, why they're hoping to present here in October.
By the way, you're looking at new IMBA director for our region. Yes. Steve just got upgraded from just ORC to International Mountain Biking Association, the regional director.
Congratulations. Arkansas, September 3rd.
October, Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'll probably come to a few more meetings. So I'll be doing mountain bike advocacy and trying to partner volunteer organizations with people that have money. And obviously marketing for IMBA, trying to get their name out in the community. So I did a 3-year contract, and some of the funding is coming from the Walton Foundation, and have an office in Bentonville, and be going to Boulder once in a while, which is nice.
Yeah.
And be on my bike as much as I can stand it. So I'm really excited.
Congratulations, that's
Yeah.
a big plus for our area.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'll be working hard, so probably have a lot of questions for a lot of you.
All right.
Hey, I have one quick,
Yes, sir.
one quick question for Connie. How did softball end up? The deal with softball was split with Fayetteville, the school.
I haven't really heard much, have you?
How did the league turn out? Like how was
Yeah, I mean,
their
like,
league
everything was
specifically?
good, everybody had a good time, everything was good.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I got some feedback just from people that participate in soccer also, and I got some mixed reviews. People that were generally happy with it, and people that were pretty genuinely upset with the organization of their league. So
With their organization? Or our
yeah,
organization?
no, with theirs, they thought that they would have an improvement with that new league, and not everyone felt that way after the fact. They thought it lacked a lot of structure. That's not to say everyone felt that way, but I definitely heard some negative feedback.
They ended up with about 100, that was last.
120, something like that.
Participants, and we had 300 and.
Yeah, about 360, 380 maybe.
What's the plan for next year?
I think they're continuing, they're planning to continue. They've actually tried to start some sort of fall league. I don't think their numbers are real high for that, but their plan is to stay separate and keep doing their own thing. We'll see if their numbers.
And we're just gonna keep running? No,
We're
no
supposed
talk
to
about,
meet, I mean,
no
the
talk
last-
about joining up?
Well, that was the last meeting we had with, the athletic director of Fayetteville. He wanted to meet again next year and hopefully maybe try to reach some sort of agreement and try to join in some aspect, but I'm not sure. So we're gonna have that meeting again, probably January, February, see where it leads.
At least we can let our, my largest concern is just to make certain our citizens know what each league offers, you know, so. the difference between the two.
Was there really a big difference? I mean, or was it just?
Not really. I think that their main objective was to provide more technical training, whereas ours is obviously recreationally based. They wanted to provide additional training sessions, but sort of the result was it splintered the leagues. Obviously, they have a smaller group of participants, so their leagues that they wanted to play games in ended up, some of the leagues had 2 to 3 teams, and so that's obviously not much of a league. So they did get some of the technical training they wanted, but the price was you're playing only 2 other teams for an entire season, and that's just not a lot of fun for little kids.
Is it both fast pitch softball? So we do set fast pitch softball, they do fast pitch softball. Okay.
So it targeted the exact same ages, and it actually targets less. They only went up until, I believe, U12, and they offered nothing for the U13 and U18 age groups that we offer.
Okay.
So they offered it for...
Well, they're in school at that point, right? They're playing school.
Yeah, but for the kids that aren't playing high school, we offer a league for those kids, and they didn't.
Sure. But I'm sure their goal is
to get those kids to be able to play.
Get you to high school, or get
Right.
you to, I guess, are you in high school at 13?
No. 15. So yeah, there is that 13, 15-year-old.
Spent a lot of time in high school. I don't remember. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, so mixed reviews. I mean, people were happy with some aspects and not happy with some.
They actually started the pitching machine, an age group earlier than us too. I think that was another major difference.
But the general census is, they're more competitive, we're more recreational.
I don't know if it's competitive because they're not really competing against anyone because their leagues are so small. They're more into technical training, I guess. They want to focus more on getting those extra like camps or clinics in rather than the recreational aspect, which is just more games against more teams. So yeah, essentially competition first for recreation, but they didn't have the teams obviously to have a large league.
I'm only asking this because I'm semi disappointed that we didn't get together this time.
We were too. We wanted to, and we weren't able to
understand.
have that meeting with the AD until weeks before their season began. We didn't know about it until our registration was open, I think.
Yeah, we didn't know.
We were blindsided, honestly.
Until the brochures went out.
Yeah, they were
in the
sent out to the
schools.
schools before we even heard of the league, so we were never approached about joining or trying to do, what's in the best interest of all the kids that want to play youth softball. So that's the idea moving forward, is to have that meeting sooner and see if we can work with each other.
Okay. Yeah. I'm for that.
Yeah, we are too.
Sure.
Anything else?
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Yeah,
Second,
one more
got one more?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to take a moment and introduce myself and apologize. I'm Leanne Van Winkle Giesler. Some of you know me as Lily, that's my nickname. And I have the privilege and the honor to be the director of the Senior Center, which is under Parks and Recreation. And the apology I owe you is that it's taken me a year to get here. You all are a huge part of what we do at the Senior Center, and Connie has graciously put me on the agenda for next month. But I wanted to give you all a copy of our newsletter that comes out monthly, and to just give you some preview of the amount of programming that the Parks Department provides through the center for the citizens of Fayetteville. So I look forward to presenting to you all next month, and if any of you want to be on the email list, this document does come out by email as well every month. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
And kind of the way we're associated with each other, the city does a contract with the Senior Adult Center and also the Fayetteville Boys and Girls Club to offer services for us. And the city, it actually doesn't come out of our budget anymore. It's out of an outside agency budget, and they have to submit their budget to the budget department, and they're considered, what everybody else's is. So that's kind of, right now I think we're at $55,000, is that about right? $55,000 that we give to them each year to offer recreational programs for the senior adults, not only at the Walker Senior Adult Wellness Center, but also at the High Rise Center.
That remind, and off topic, and this, sorry, I do not mean to diminish the senior center and everything, come on. But this just reminded me, is that Frisbee golf course open? That's gonna be right there by the senior center yet?
They're on hole number 3.
3, yeah.
Oh,
It's a
hole
very
3?
laborious
Do they need
process, all by volunteers.
A lot of brush hauling.
Yeah.
It is so thick.
We had to crawl through it to look at it initially, if that gives you any idea.
Well, I've been there with you, Byron.
Yeah.
Just curious, sorry.
Just reading from this, I think that the board is scheduled to go on a motor coach tour in February. Just reading ahead.
And I want you to know that if any of you choose to go on our motor coach tours, they are open to any age group, and they are actually fundraisers for the center. We went to Savannah in May for 7 days, which was outstanding, and we were able to deposit $3,200 off of the trip, because we get a certain pricing break from the coach tour people.
Super.
So, we would love to have you.
Not to keep the meeting going longer, but
Yeah, right now,
very,
big
very
water
special
tour.
thank you goes to Dr. Cherry
$160.
for his donation and his seed
Sweet
money
deal.
to get us all started on raising money for this great big regional park, which will be awesome. We appreciate that so much.
Thank you. One last thing, August 8th, Gilly Park concert, Uncrowned Kings. Now, if you haven't been to a Gilly Park concert, you're really missing out. They are widely attended by citizens, and I've been to a couple. They have been a great time. So don't miss the, is that the last one, Connie?
That is it.
That's the last one. So this is your
Before it
last
starts.
chance to see a good concert.
Hey, we'll give you front row if you want. Save it for you.
And I think we already had a motion and a second. So we're adjourned. Thank you.